All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Thursday, January 23rd. Market's just open for about a half an hour here, and we're just getting rolling. So good to see you guys. How are you guys doing this fine morning? Just watching the futures contracts I got up here. Definitely a large down move this fine morning. And as I pull over the indexes as well, we see gap downs in everybody. And our pointer, so we'll talk about a few of these different indicators. You guys can see me and hear me right okay? Got the screen. I believe Dave is coming. We'll see. I have not heard anything new, so maybe he's having more keyboard issues again. Hey, good morning, Andre. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's one nice thing when Dave's here. I know that he can hear me because we got the back and forth, but if I'm the only one talking, it's kind of fun, so I appreciate that. Yeah, this was one of the first days in a while that we definitely opened up looking at our internals indicators here with both the internals and the original market timer XL indicator, both below the extremes there. We were almost below. We see the gray dot was, and the green one was just above that 20 line. So definitely bearish moves this morning. And we saw that follow through in everything, the futures across the board, all four major indexes. And there's Dave. Good morning, Dave. As he gets set up.
Good morning.
How we doing?
Am I fashionably late?
You're perfect. I said I was just giving you a hard time that you might be having more keyboard problems.
No, this time it was logging into Tradingology. I'm like, wait a minute. First it didn't recognize my credentials, and then I went to the link, and it said I don't have access. I said, wait a minute, what's going on? So I had to go up to the bar at the top there.
Oh, you didn't pay?
Yeah. I'm delinquent on my payments.
There you go.
Don't ever do that, guys. Don't ever be delinquent on your payments to Dan. Pay him immediately because everything he does is gold.
Too funny.
What do we got today? A little interesting, little pullback, huh? 140 points on the Dow.
Yeah, I was just talking. We were looking at the market timer XL, the original that I always love, and the internal script. It was the first time in a while that we were pretty much buried to the bear side on that one.
Yeah.
We see looking at advancing decline, and is now starting to recover. So it's not going to turn into a double D day for us, or a true trend day, I should say.
Yeah, no, it's not. No.
That was kind of, I'm like, oh, maybe we'll get down to negative 2,000. We'll have a lot of fun today.
Yeah, that would be really nice if that happened, but we haven't seen one of those in a while, and I think until volatility really starts to pick up, it's not going to happen. But we are starting to see, I mean, if you look at the SPY VIX, we're way up at the top. We've been hanging around there. I think we're starting to feel the effects. So today, yesterday, we kind of saw that effect a little bit too, but today we're starting to see a little bit of a dive.
Yeah, big drop off on that SPY VIX chart there.
Yeah, you see that rounding pattern? Look at that rounding pattern at the top of that. That's kind of what I look for. Going back from like 2-3 Wednesdays ago, yeah. Big rounding pattern. And yeah, so that's kind of where I decided to get back into the VXX trade long. So I'm up a little bit today, and we'll see how the day ends up. But with
we're still building on everything here.
Yeah. So yeah,
this feels like a big move back up.
Yeah, a lot of bearish herding.
A lot of herding coming in. We're filling up. BOP curve's coming up. Volatility's coming up. I don't think this little bounce back is going to last too long.
No, so let's see if it hits those resistance areas and then bounces off of those on the downside. And
right, exactly.
Yeah, go from there. Good morning, everybody. Andre. I see Andre. Andre's in here twice. I'm not sure why.
He's double down. We
Zach.
had a question come across from a member that I wanted to share. We haven't talked about this one in a while, so I was pulling it up because he couldn't get it to work on his chart. He was looking at the MT signals, the V2s. He sent me an email, said, Dan, I can't get this one to paint. He said, everything else is working, but it's just nothing down here. So I went back and looked at him like, which one are you trying to get to work again? So I said, okay, yep, that's the one where you have the ability to control the multiplier, basically. So if I go into edit studies here, just a quick review for anybody that doesn't remember this one. This is a really nice signal here. Is pull up my studies. Did I hit edit? Computer's getting busy again. There we go. You want to make sure on this one in the gear, you have the ability to select how many that multiplier is, or the multi-factor. The default is 5 when you load the script. I have mine set to 3 because I have these on 10-minute charts. So what it's going to do is it's going to take that 10 times 3 and look for a 30-minute time frame. And if you don't have it, this won't paint in. So that was his problem, is he had it set to 5 still, and he had it on a 4-hour chart actually. So it would be looking for a 20-hour chart. And most people don't have a 20-hour pre-built unless they've modified one. So it needs to be in here, whatever your multiplier is in here. So remember that if you ever have problems with that, go back and check that multiplier or multi-factor, and then you'll get it to start painting. But that's a nice one that I added back on to go with the oscillator and empty vault chart. So we see on a down day like we've talked about, I'll shrink this down a little bit so we can see the top. On these, bearish looking days, we're looking for ways if you want to get back in for another short, that's when you want to look for this, give you another down signal to go short again on a short sequence. So watch those signals together. Since we got the oscillators pointing down, we're down at -7. This is buried at a -10, it looks like. You roll it back up so I can see it. Yep. We've leveled out all the way down to -10. Whoa. And suddenly that just went across a couple screens for me. That's fun. I love it when monitors play games. There we go. So all the way down. So you're not looking for longs right now, unless you're really daring, but just high level, looking for this to turn back down, which it looks like it might be again, where that'd be another potential to grab another downside trade there. Mm-hmm. Like Dave was saying, as we bounce off of these levels, so they all kind of work together. Look at that, hit right up to that SR2, mm-hmm. and coming right back down. This one's hitting up to SR1, it looks like.
Yeah, and NDX has been running pretty hot, so that's the faster horse, and it's been that way for a while. So I'm not surprised it hit SR1 up there.
Oh, hey Dave, I see the camera.
Yes, you don't have your hat on today.
I don't. I trimmed up all my short and curly, so I'm good to go again. I'm presentable.
Andre says yesterday's session already available as a recording? Not yet. I'm going to edit out the part where I said I don't have any friends. Other than that, it's almost ready to go. Just FYI, I have no regrets at all about that because I am focused on my business. And if you want to actually make money and get rich, you kind of need to make sacrifices. And I have absolutely zero regrets about that.
Everyone has to have their own goals, and that's important.
Yeah. So we're looking good. Hey, I got some information for you guys. An acquaintance of mine and somebody who I kind of developed a relationship with over the last month or so had met with Congressman DeSoto, who is a co-sponsor of the Token Taxonomy Act. And this is the Digital Asset and Cryptocurrency Act that was pending last year, didn't get passed, it didn't get introduced yet because it was still in the Financial Services Committee. And he met with him yesterday at a town hall meeting, and they also had a private meeting. And he called me about 10 o'clock last night saying that we're going to talk a little bit further today, but basically he said regulations are coming real soon. That's the inside scoop.
Interesting.
Real soon, he said. So I'm really looking forward to that. That would be very, very nice. I think if we do get it, we're going to see potentially, no guarantees, but we could see a big run up in asset prices, digital asset prices.
Sure.
Who knows? It may make them go down.
Anything's possible in that world still of.
That market is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have any real stabilization in prices until we get more derivatives like the traditional markets. We got options, we got futures, we got options on futures, we got all of the derivatives that are available to hedge risk for anybody who's holding stocks and bonds. We don't have that in digital assets yet, at least not in the United States. So that's why I'm kind of excited about the passage of this legislation. Then it kind of opens the door to all of these different derivatives being developed here.
Yep, slowly but surely they're coming along. And the biggest thing that we know we've always been missing is true price discovery. That's been gone for a long time and never existed in the crypto market.
Yeah, exactly. So Andre, that recording will be up later today for sure in the Market Timer archives.
There you go. Perfect.
But some people say we don't have price discovery in the traditional stock markets anymore either.
Yeah, I'd say, one could argue that went away in 1987.
Yeah.
And we haven't had it truly since then.
Yep, that's absolutely true. I saw a chart on advisor perspectives in the D-Short section. D-Short actually was a fantastic resource. It had a standalone website at dshort.com. Back in the early 2000s. I used to love to read their stuff. Now they've combined with advisorperspectives.com. But they had a fantastic chart there on inflation going all the way back to like the mid 1870s. And you can see the Great Depression, this huge decline in inflation, which was deflation at the time. And then since then, we've had like 1937, 1940, we've had nothing but inflation. And that's really since the creation of the Federal Reserve System, which has constantly just focused on inflation. It's gotten, if you go down, it's below there. It's right in that group.
What did they call it?
It was inflation from the 1870s or something like that. Keep going.
I'll try not to make you guys sick.
I think it was on the 15th or 17th.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, right there. 1872 to present. Yeah, real interesting. Look at the cycles of inflation deflation that we had prior to 1930, 1937, especially 1940. There was very little there was a little deflation after that, but before that, there were cycles of inflation and then deflation. Now we don't get. You can see from 1940 on. I mean, the deflationary periods were really tiny. It's like nothing.
Yeah, all the way from 55 basically to 2010.
Yeah. Yeah, and when was the Federal Reserve created? In the 30s?
Yeah, like 32 or something.
Yeah. So, I mean, ever since then, we've had really very, very light deflation. And of course, during that entire time, what's happened to the U.S. dollar?
That became the gold world reserve. We're taking off of gold. All kinds of things happen around the same time frame there.
Yeah, and they printed it like crazy to continue the inflation narrative. So
that's one machine that never runs out of ink.
Yeah. And so if we took a look at like 1940, the dollar was worth 95 cents relative to price adjusted CPI. And then you get down to where we are now, and it's like 15 cents compared to what it was in 1940. So purchasing power of the dollar. Oh, let's take a look at the chart just below that. There it is. Decline in purchasing power. There we go.
Yeah.
5 cents.
5 cents.
5 cents. Jeez.
Wow.
Holy cow.
1914, the Federal Reserve. There we go. We were a little late.
Okay. Yep.
There's the gold standard left in 33. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Or here's where Nixon closed the gold window. Roosevelt abandoned it. Then it was completely done.
Okay. I would have guessed that it would have turned down much. It was already in a decline when Nixon closed the gold window.
So yeah, advisor perspectives that you guys can see up here, like Dave says, I just had it as a bookmark on D-Short, and they've combined. So lots of interesting stuff out here for research.
Another thing on that lower chart there is the oh shoot, I was just going to say it. The gold standard in 1933. That was this time of Bretton Woods, and actually when we got into the first Bretton Woods, everybody agreed to be on the gold standard in the G20 or G7, maybe G7 or G20. I'm not sure, but within 2 years of that Bretton Woods agreement, the U.S. reneged completely and got off the gold standard. And then they received the world reserve currency status. So it's been almost 100 years. And that typically, I think the British pound was the gold reserve currency for 100 years, and then it's got to change. I mean, now it's only worth 5 cents. Jeez, that doesn't make me feel very wealthy,
right? When the entire world reserve is the dollar's worth 5 cents, that's got to be trouble in all kinds of things.
Yeah, it's it's a 95% decline.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. Good to see you. It's been a while.
Hey, Kevin. What's going on? Good morning.
Oh, I should bring over quickly, there was requests of still covering the VA trade. Today wasn't a good setup day. The TSA alert had us at a 55-45 split, and if I pull over the 5-minute chart, we definitely see that result where, if you could be in these decent moves here watching the 1-minute chart, they were, this is 5 minutes. If we look at the ARB oscillator here, we're at there's a 13 for the first 5 minutes, and the following 5 minutes had a negative 17, then back up 10. So we've definitely had some contention here, but inside those moves, if I pull over the 1 minute, if you're looking to do something that quick, there was opportunity there. Oh. Slide that back down. This is my favorite monitor day.
Yeah, so the overnight was kind of trending down towards the open. It looks like I haven't been able to watch it because, as I told you, I have to drive 30 minutes to go see my aunt every morning. She's having some health problems. So I haven't been able to watch the VA trade at all.
Yeah, so as you mentioned there, it was trending down coming into the open, so we had that up bias right around the open. So the first 5 minutes definitely played out to the up, and then triggered right back down. So it's definitely seesawing there. So if you're in it, this wasn't a long-term one. This was a short-term trade for the VA, but as we mentioned, there is still definitely opportunities.
And also I think on the long term it did kind of do a turnaround, didn't it, yesterday? If I recall, I looked at the 4 hour. I think I saw a turnaround. The
middle of yesterday, yeah, we came back. So it basically retraced. Yesterday was almost flat, but it was a huge move down, then a big move back up.
Yeah, now it's reversed again. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, if we look at the daily, here's the interesting part too, guys. If today finishes down as it's starting, this will be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row.
Wow.
Excuse me. Typically, we only see that go maybe 6 or 7 days until it has to reverse.
Right.
We had 2 days back up, and yeah, now we're What are we currently at? Yesterday we closed at 3.176, another all-time low on the spread. And now we're
Wow.
below that even more. So we're getting down to like 3.15. We look at that trend. We definitely broke below the 3.2 and we're keep falling.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me that kind of a little bit of overheating in the NDX. A little bit of what, I don't know if you recall, back in the 2000s, they called it animal spirits, kind of an animal spirit kind of move where people are buying up the technology stocks. They're just looking for that. They're not looking for yield. They're looking for capital gains. And this move just seems really unprecedented. I mean, if you look back at the spreadsheet over years, I don't think we've had this long of a move to the downside, or at least the percentage move to the downside.
Yeah, no, we had at one time we had triple to the down, but it wasn't this long. It was much shorter.
Yeah. This is a massive, massive move.
I mean, look at it. We have 0 days. Last time it was just at 0 was December 10th.
Wow.
We haven't even made it back to 0 since then.
Yeah.
And look at that. It was 1 day at 0. As I go back, it's all the way back to Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Wow. That is a crazy, crazy trend. But when it reverses, it's going to be massive, I think. So keep an eye on it, guys. Keep an eye on it.
All right. Slide that back over. And I'll roll this one back so you see this too. Reacting to that resistance line, as we were talking about, bearish herding still filling out. BOP curve is kind of leveling off, so it might not be another major turn down, but it's definitely reacting to both of those instances. Volatility is still rising.
Yeah, most important thing is that herding. I wonder what it looks like. You got it on 10-minute charts.
You want to see a daily?
Well, we could take a look at a daily would be okay, or even like a 1 hour, 2 hour, something like that. I kind of like the 2 hour myself. I don't know why.
The 1 hour we're at 119. Oh, look, that is a bear trap actually.
Yeah, that's a bear trap right there. So I'm not sure when that popped up.
It's like you just knew that instinctively.
Yeah.
What do you think? You designed this system or something?
I've just studied it longer than everybody else.
We'll move them all over to 2 hours and see what we see.
Yeah. So in the short term, there's definitely lots of bearish herding there. So we got a little bit of a bear trap in there. Yeah, it's just starting to fill out on the longer term charts. Just starting.
Yeah, and MT vol is not broken 100 on those longer term charts either, just on the very short term.
Yeah.
We're still in the 70s.
Yep, exactly. So I keep an eye on the short term. If you're doing day trading, and the longer term, just kind of see where you are in the overall big picture.
Jumping back 10 minutes. Just because I love to zoom in and zoom out so much. See, that one was nice and remembered for me. Why couldn't the other ones be nice?
You probably don't have the setting in there to zoom when, whatever the setting is, zoom when.
Let's check and see if I missed it. There you go.
Yep, there you go.
I'll fix that too. Fix everything. I'm always fixing stuff for my own stuff. You guys will find that. You're always changing and redoing and finding stuff. When you get enough charts, everyone's got to fix their own stuff.
Yeah, that's why like TOS has a number of different videos that are available, and you should probably go look at them about how to make your own changes on the platform.
Yep, I like the manual and keep the price zoom.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Otherwise, you're constantly scrolling between time frames.
Yeah, you get carpal tunnel. Clicking and dragging constantly. I had that once. It's no fun. Kevin says he'd like to see a refresher video on scalping with the Renko tick and signal indicators. Sent an email about the divergences, but I've been seeing them. Would love to know how you guys deal with them. We can look at doing that, Kevin.
Yeah. Maybe send that again. Who'd you send it to, Kevin? I'm not accepting emails. Oh, Dan. Okay. Yeah, resend it. Let Dan take a look at it. We can definitely cover something like that in the future, maybe next week.
Yeah, speaking of which, that is something I was looking at for updating the day trading masterclass. So absolutely. As we get more tools and because when the original one was done, Dave didn't have these fantastic scripts, so we'll make that class even better too.
Right.
I don't know if I trust you enough, Kevin, to unmute you. I'm kidding.
If the, yeah, you can ask the question. We got about 15 minutes. You still have to go at 10:45, right?
Yes, 1:45 is my stops now. Oh, he moved. All right. All right, Kevin. Looks like you unmuted yourself, so have at it. What do you got, sir?
Guys.
Say that again.
Can you guys hear me?
You're breaking up real bad, though.
I can barely hear you. See, we'd love to hear you talk.
Okay.
Looks like your microphone needs some work there, Kevin. Sorry about that.
Either that or he's on his cell phone or something.
No problem. Yeah, shoot me an email. Give me the details, and I'll do my best for you, sir. Let's see. We got a regular week finally coming next week. No days off until middle of Wednesday. That's one thing that I always feel throws some traders too, is when you get those half-day market closed with Martin Luther King Day. It's nice to get back into a regular swing of things. With next week, will be 5 days again.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that they need to celebrate holidays and stuff like that, but it seems like there's been a lot. And banks were open Monday. The Postal Service delivered mail.
Are you sure?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I was surprised because I saw the delivery, the USPS delivery guy stop at the house, deliver mail.
Interesting. Yeah, I think they they even do stuff on Saturdays and Sundays now where they didn't used to before, right? Because they got to compete with all the other delivery services.
Yeah, Sunday just during the holidays, though, for sure. But look at that MDX go.
Can you guys hear me now?
No, we gotcha.
Sorry about the
problem.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I had to switch to my USB headset. I was trying to go through my laptop's microphone, which is always a bad idea.
Oh, definitely.
No problem.
Thanks, guys. I sent the email about a week ago to the Tradingology website, or email address, I should say. But what I've been seeing a lot lately is I try to scalp the NQ. And sometimes the mini NQ or the micro NQ.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing the signals indicator many times move counter to the price action. For example, the strength or the bars will be going down. And I know we were using the signals indicator for the atomic entries at one time. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to time my entries and exits, but I'm seeing a lot of counter moves, and where the price action will be going up, but the signals indicator will be going down. And I know when we first started using that indicator, we were seeing a lot more of movement in the same direction as the strength, as the price action was going higher, the signal indicator would be going higher. But I'm seeing a lot of counter moves, so I'm having a hard time knowing how high the price action can actually go on fumes. That's when I'm seeing a lot of volatility that way. I hope I'm explaining it right.
No, I understand you. Yeah. So here's one thing to keep in mind is like right under the NQ where Dan has that chart there.
Yeah.
You had kind of a push higher after it hit the bottom on the red side. So if we go back to the open there, you see the bar starting to get smaller and smaller and smaller. It still indicates a positive bias, right? But then when we hit the green bars, when it went positive, you had a real big push off there, and now we're starting to decline, but the price is going higher. So I think that's what you mean. So if I was going into a trade on a short time frame like that, I'm going to wait until those green bars turn red to even look at the negative position. But the other thing is you have Dan doesn't have the Renko cloud on there. He's got the person's pivots, but the Renko cloud
for you.
Okay, yeah. If it's really high above there, I would not take a short position until those green bars started getting smaller and smaller towards the zero line, because the green bars still indicate a positive trend.
Okay.
And so that's kind of an important distinction. It's just not like the red ones. Even though they're not as strong as the first move down in the morning here, they're still red. So that indicates a negative bias. So you don't want to take a long position until you see a green bar. When you start to see a green bar, you see all the green, there's a lot of red bars there. And, so now you have to take a look at the Renko cloud. You see how far it is away. Now it's right on the Renko cloud. So it's not really that far above it. This morning, when it went down, you can see it was way below the Renko cloud. And it also hit that person pivot support. Yep. So as long as the bars are red, that indicates a negative bias on the price action, because SM price signals does not use internal market data. That's one of the new indicators that we came out with that works strictly on price data. So it's telling you that, hey, it's still negative, but the price decline is not as strong as it used to be.
Right.
But then when it's way below that Renko cloud, that's and you have a lower red bar, that's an indication, hey, we're still going to go higher. We could go higher at this point.
Okay.
Well, it's still green right now, but we're not that far above the Renko cloud, so it's not really oversold at this point, or overbought at this point. I mean, if it shot up to 92.20 maybe, and we still have real small bars on the green side, then I'd say, yeah, that's probably a good time to go short. But not now. It's not that far above the Renko cloud.
Okay. Yeah, I'm jumping between the 125, the 250, and the 500 tick charts, depending on how much volume there is going on.
Yes.
So these 5-minute charts here are cleaner.
They are, but you know what? I love the tick charts with the Renko and the price signals. But you have to do 250 on the NQs, and I would do 500 on the MNQs because the MNQs don't have as many transactions yet as the NQs do. So you have to go 500 ticks on those. I don't know what you were using on the MNQs.
Yeah, the MNQs, I'm jumping between 250 and 500. I'm adjusting. Yeah, and I also scalp the RTY
okay.
and gold contract occasionally.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm constantly adjusting between those three, the 125, the 250, and 500, depending on how much volume is going through that morning.
No, I've always found that the NQ is 250 is perfect, and the MNQ is 500. I wouldn't switch back and forth, because now you're going to get confused as which signal is which one you want to take. The MNQ though, 500 is perfect. I wouldn't adjust it myself.
Okay. Yeah, I also find support and resistance line, laying those in before I start in the morning is crucial.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think I just reversed that. It's 500 on the NQ. It's 250 on the MNQ, because
okay.
More transactions take place on the NQ than the MNQ.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm just having a hard time figuring out when the particular move, either up or down, is going to exhaust itself out, because it's just going up and up and up on fumes.
Okay, so this is the easy way to do it. You don't know, of course.
Yeah.
You don't know. So you have to take a position. Like right now, we're almost at the zero line on the SM price signals. I'm going to assume it's going to go negative. I'm going to take a position on a short and then put my stop just above that bar.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, it's like fishing. You got to throw your line in the water in order to catch a fish, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to assume that as soon as that got down to like zero or close to it, we're going negative.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to exit that. If you're scalping, I'm going to exit that position at the 92.20 or 92.02, just below that Renko cloud.
Yeah.
I'm out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's great.
Yep.
Okay. Good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Kevin.
Yeah, the easy way there, Kevin, is just think micros 250, fully minis 500 across the board, no matter what index you're on. That's what I found there too. You bet. But yeah, that's a nice little. Appreciate the question. That helps. Voltaire likes it too. Good job. Excellent.
Yeah, you got to throw your line in the water, because you don't know what's going to happen, and so a lot of times, a couple of traders I talked to, they're like, "Well, I don't know if it's going to go down or not," but I said, okay, well, if you're down there, you got to throw your fishing line in the water. You're not going to catch anything. You don't know. And so then when a potentially big move happens and they miss it completely, you gotta take that chance. Especially if you're scalping, because you don't know which move is gonna make it or not. And you got to get in there and do your thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you see, as this is turning now, like you said, if you had your line in, now here it's coming down to 03. This is currently
as soon as that hits the bottom of that Renko cloud, I'm out.
It's confirming the trend's going down.
Or I move my stop down.
Yep. Or if you had multiple contracts, like if you got in with 3,
that's right.
One off, you're taking one off, you're locking up profits. You've got the next bars drawn in now.
Yep, there it hit it. So you'd have your stop set in there so you can get out, or lower it. And if you're doing multiple contracts, start taking them off as it's going down, but keep one in just in case it is a really big move.
Definitely. And that's all based on, we're on the negative side. These have recovered some. This is up to 30. It's not down at 20, but just high level. We're more looking for shorts versus longs when we're on this side of the market, internals.
Exactly. See, we hit that 92.02. Now it's starting to move back up again. So
yep, bounced right off the bottom.
You would have made 4 points on that. Because it was a 92.06 when we started talking about it. Kevin says, I find the classic chart patterns work very well on the 125, 250, and 500. Okay. Yeah. At least it works someplace, because the Fed maybe isn't using tick charts.
Right. Find your edge, man, whatever it is. That's what we do.
Right.
All right, we're getting close. Any more questions, guys? That was a great question, Kevin. Appreciate it. That helped a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, Bukowski. I need to go back to his website. I haven't looked at his website in a while. I'm sure he's still posting, but he's just a brilliant guy. I loved his work.
Speaking of brilliant guys, I came across Jim Simon's TED Talk. I had to watch that last night again. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
that guy's amazing. If you guys haven't seen that, definitely check it out.
Yeah, he's just a brilliant guy. Just, man, I wish I could just tear his head open and get inside his brain.
81 years old he is now.
He lives in Newton, Massachusetts.
Is he in Massachusetts now?
Yep.
Wikipedia had him still out on Long Island.
No, he's in Newton. Yeah, I know the area. I know the area very well because I used to live in Boston.
I was going to say, you could go track him down. You're close enough.
I would. I'd go knock on his door. Say, hey, you got a minute?
He'd probably answer.
Yeah, and then call the police. Who's this guy? Oh, he's got great stuff even today. Cool. I'll have to go check out Bukowski. Yes. One of the very first, I mean, I bought his book as soon as it came out, the Encyclopedia Chart Patterns. Great reference. It's still a great reference, but as he admitted in Stocks and Commodities magazine in 2010, a lot of them are failing more often. And I gotta believe it's because of the Fed intervention. And daily reports, good. I will definitely check him out. I haven't gone to check his stuff out in a while. All right, guys, it's time. Thank you very much for joining us again today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have a great weekend, and keep your questions coming, and we're always looking to improve. So appreciate you guys coming in again, as Dave said. Yeah.
Great question today, Kevin. Thank you very much for bringing that up. Happy to answer those kind of questions for any of you guys. Really like the participation, so keep it going. We like it. That's why we're here.
You got it. And we will see you on Tuesday, same time, same bat channel, same bat place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Absolutely. I got you on my books.
All right, guys. Have a great day. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.